proposition de la Commission sur les avoirs.
Prime Minister?
I think it's a very useful and very important informal discussion in this phase, in view of the current European situation, which, as you know, will continue in a scenario that we all know. A scenario that continues to be a scenario of provocation. I have already said a few days ago, in another press conference, why I believe that these provocations are increasing. I believe that, on the one hand, there is an attempt by Russia to prevent European countries from sending other anti-aircraft systems to Ukraine. And, on the other hand, I think that Russia also has a need, let's say, not to point out the fact that there was announced a summer offensive, and that offensive has failed. Despite this, I think that we must reason with cold blood. I think that we must not respond to provocations. We must be prepared. One thing that must be said about drones, about walls, is that we must remember that the borders of the alliance are very extensive. So if we make the mistake of looking only at the eastern side, and forgetting, for example, that there is a southern side, we risk not being resolute. In any case, it is certainly a discussion that will be very extensive. As you know, there are no predetermined conclusions. So we also allow a very frank discussion, very well deserved. I don't understand, forgive me. It is possible, yes. Look, yes, I imagine that here it can also be a subject of discussion. Yes, a subject of discussion. The most important thing, in my opinion, is the European support for a peace plan that has been proposed, on which, as everyone knows, there has been a great deal of tension from Arab countries to European countries, passing through nations such as India. We are waiting for Hamas' response, more reason. As I said yesterday, I think that in this phase of an extremely delicate balance, in the face of a possibility that would be historic, to insist on an initiative that, let's say, has margins, in my opinion, of danger and irresponsibility, I still don't understand it. I think that after the appeals that were made by President Mattarella and others, I have also seen what other European leaders are saying. I have seen what Spain is doing, which is exactly what Italy is doing. I think that the risk of an initiative that was said to be born for a humanitarian issue, then it was discovered that it was not for a humanitarian issue. It was to force a naval blockade, and it already becomes something else. Otherwise, if it had been for a humanitarian reason, the numerous proposals that have been made to be able to deliver those assistance in safety would have been accepted. So, I think that the subject is, let's say, something else, but it assumes contours that are, let's say, incredible in the phase of these hours, because it is a phase in which everyone should understand that, let's say, exercising the responsibility of waiting, while there is a peace negotiation, is perhaps the most useful thing that can be done to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian people. But perhaps the suffering of the Palestinian people, let's say, was not the priority.